Alright, good morning guys. We're doing expressions and equations, solving equations and inequalities. Remember, inequalities would be like greater than, less than, or equal to. So now you're going to be solving for the variable. So in order to do that, this is my famous rule that I like to say, is whatever you do to one side, you're going to have to do to the other. But before you can do that, you're going to have to figure out what operation is being done on the side with the variable. So in this case, we have 9x, which means we have 9 times x. So we need to do the opposite of multiplication to get rid of the 9. So I'm going to rewrite this problem over here. So the opposite of multiplication would be division. So in order to get rid of the 9, we're going to divide by 9. Whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So 9 divided by 9 cancels out. Now we have to do it to the other side. We do 72 divided by 9. X is left alone. Your equal sign can come down. Then you need to solve 72 divided by 9. So that would be, I'm trying to remember. Nine times 8 is 72. Okay, so 72 divided by 9 is 8. So that means x is equal to 8. Now you can take that and put it back in the original problem. So you're going to take this and put it where x was. So x is equal to 8, so we're going to put 8 in for x equals 72. Check it. You can check it with a calculator. 9 times 8 is 72. So 72 equals 72. Down here, you just need to type in 8. And you got it. Okay? So we're going to go through I'm probably going to go through almost each problem today. The value of x, what's going to make the equation true? It's an equation because we have an equal sign now. So this right here is division. Whenever you see that fraction bar line, this is division. Okay, that's what's happening on this part of the problem. So we need to do the opposite. The opposite of division would be multiplication. So we're not going to multiply by x. We're going to multiply by 25. So I'm going to rewrite that over here. Okay, I said that last part a little bit wrong. We're going to multiply by x first. So in this case, we're going to try to get that x off the bottom. You want to make sure that your variables stay on top. Okay, so we're going to multiply by, I'm going to use the dot, by x to cancel out. Whatever you do to one side, you do to the other. Alright, so now we have 25 equals 5 times x. I forgot to use the dot. So we know that can be 5x. Now we can solve for the variable. And it does not matter what side the variable is on because you can flip it around and it's still going to equal the same thing. So now this right here, this is multiplication. So we need to do the opposite, which is division. Okay? So we're going to divide by 5. Those cancel out. Whatever you do to one side, do to the other. 25 divided by 5 is 5, and that is equal to x. You can put it back in the original problem. So if we did 25 divided by 5 equals 5, it's going to equal 5. Okay, that's the correct answer. Now, you have to take x equals 6 and input it into each part where you see x. Okay, this one's going to take a little bit of time. I'm going to show you one example that does work and one example that doesn't work so you can understand what I'm doing. I'm going to show you with A. So I'm going to rewrite it over here on the other side. So x is going to replace with 6. So we have 8 times 6 divided by 12 equals 4. You're going to need to remember PEMDAS. Okay? So multiplication comes first because it's on top. So I'm going to do this first. That would equal 8 times 6 is 48. Divided by 12 equals 4. Now I'm going to do normal division. So I'm going to write it out over here on the side. So I know 12 times 2 is 24. 12 times 3 is 36. Let's try 12 times 4 just to check. 8, 4. Okay, so that equals 4. So 48 divided by 4 is 12. 4 equals 4. A is one that works. So you can select A for that one. Now I'm going to show you one that doesn't work. Give me just a second. Let me erase everything. Okay. Alright, we're going to try C. And we're going to take 6 and input it here into the x squared. So this problem is now going to become 6 squared plus 8 equals 57. So remember PEMDAS, we don't have parentheses, but we do have exponents. So we're going to solve the exponent first. We have 36, right? Because 6 squared is equal to 6 times 6, which equals 36. Drop everything else down. Now we need to do 36 plus 8. Let's see. 8 plus 6 is 14. Carry the 1. 3 plus 1 is 4. 44 equals 57. Nope. That is one that does not work. So for C, this one doesn't work because we did all the steps. We put 6 in for X, and 44 and 57 are not the same thing. So I'm going to answer the rest of these so I can move on to the next question. Same type of thing here. So X is going to equal 12.5, and you have to figure out which ones are going to work for that. So I'm going to do A again just to help you out because it is with the division and it gets a little confusing. So 12.5 is going to replace X, so we have 4 times 12.5 divided by 10 equals 5. So remember PEMDAS, I'm going to rewrite it. We have parentheses, but that's because it's multiplication. We don't have exponents, so multiplication comes first. Alright, so 4 times 12.5. Remember, when you multiply decimals, you do not have to line up the ones with the ones. You just put that other number at the very back. So 4 times 5 is 20. Carry the 2. 4 times 2 is 8. Plus 2 is 10. Carry the 1. 4 times 1 is 4. Plus 1 is 5. Drop your decimal down. So we have 50. So now we're going to take 50 and replace it with this. So you're going to rewrite the whole thing up here. So now this problem becomes 50 divided by 10 equals 5. So we do 50 divided by 10. Remember, you can just take those zeros off when you have zeros on the back. We have 5 over 1. As you all know, 5 over 1 is the same thing as 5. So A works. Now I'm going to do an example that doesn't work after I erase all this. If I'm going too fast for you, remember you can pause and rewind this video and it will help you out. Alright, now we're going to do one that doesn't work. So we're going to take x and then replace it in this problem. 8x minus 12 equals 96. So we have 8 times 12.5 minus 12 equals 96. PEMDAS, we're going to do multiplication first because that is what shows up first. So we're going to do 12.5 times 8. 8 times 5 is 40, carry your 4. 8 times 2 is 16, plus 4 is 20. 8 times 1 plus 2 is 10. Drop your decimal down. We have 100. So 100 is going to replace the first part of our problem. So now we're going to make this problem. 100 minus 12 equals 96. So let's think about it. Let's do it. 100 minus 12 equals 96. We're going to find out. Well, we need to borrow. We talked about this at the beginning of the year. Alright, 10 minus 2 is 8. 9 minus 1 is 8. So it looks like 100 minus 12 is 88, not 96. So this problem, C, doesn't work. I'm going to solve the rest and go to the next problem. Alright, here's a little bit of a different one that we haven't done. We've been doing a lot of division and multiplication. So again, you're going to do the opposite of what you see. So we see an addition, so that means we're going to do subtraction. And whatever you do to one side, you have to do the other. So this problem is showing plus 9. So we're going to end up actually subtracting it. So I'm going to rewrite it a little bit bigger. Alright, x plus 9 equals 11. So there's a few ways you could solve this. You can just look at this and go, well, 9, 10, 11, and count up, and x would equal 2. But we're trying to get you away from that because you're going to have a lot more difficult problems in the future. So this is going to be a little bit easier for you to solve. So we're going to subtract that 9, and whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. This is where I would be in class, normally making you scream this out loud so you get it in your head, but I can't do that over the camera. So, if you're with me, just say whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other. That will make your head, it will help so much. Drop that x down, and then I have 11 minus 9, and that is going to equal 2. Okay? Alright, this time we have x on top, so we don't have to move x, which is awesome. So this is division. We're going to do the opposite of division, which is multiplication. And remember, whatever you do to one side, you're going to do to the other. So we have divided by 4, so we need to multiply by 4. Cross it out because they cancel. Dividing by 4 and multiplying by 4 is canceling each other out. Oops, sorry, we're not dividing, we're multiplying by 4. So now we have x equals 7 times 4. 7 times 4 is 28. So x equals 28. Woo! Okay, this one. So this one can be a little bit difficult because we have a negative x. So there's a couple of ways you can solve it. I'm going to show you the easiest way to solve it. Alright, we have 12 minus x equals 8. Alright, I don't want a negative x because that means we're going to have to divide by negative 1. And I don't want to do that. It makes things way too difficult. So, I'm going to add x first. This is my first step. So now my problem becomes 12 equals 8 plus x. Much easier to work with a positive x than it is to work with a negative x. So now I have two positive numbers, but I need to subtract. So I'm going to subtract that 8. Remember, this problem could be written as 12 equals x plus 8, if that helps you a little bit more. I'm going to subtract that 8 because I need to solve for x. Whatever I do to one side, you need to make sure you're saying you do to the other. Okay? So 12 minus 8 is 4. And oh my goodness, I'm sorry about that. And so we have 4 equals x. You can always take this and put it back into the original problem, and it would work. Done a similar one like this earlier. You're just going to have to put x in. Alright guys, I know this is getting long. But we're going to try to figure out what's going to make x true. So this one can be a little bit more difficult. So we're going to pretend that the parentheses don't exist. Okay? So this becomes 11 minus x minus 2 equals 3. Alright. So, and the reason I'm pretending the parentheses don't exist is because there are no multiplication or division within this problem. It's just subtracting. So I'm going to actually combine like terms first. So I'm going to combine 11 and negative 2. So 11 minus 2 would be 9, right? So 9 minus x equals 3. Now remember we talked about we don't want a negative x. So I'm going to, whatever I do to one side, I'm going to do to the other because I'm going to move it. Opposite of negative would be to add. So I'm going to add an x. So this now becomes 9